It is 9:05, we call the meeting order, please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, this is our regular commissioners meeting for July 14th. Is there any additions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, have several here under the consent agenda. Under commissioners warrants, we had add-on commissioners warrants for $742,892.82. With the other warrants of $198,226.84, total is $941,119.66. $941,119.66. Other items, like to add proposed 2027 budget schedule, date and times. I did put a copy of that on each of your desks. Also, Chairman Johnson mentioned that there are two meeting sessions coming up, and several hazard mitigation meetings starting Wednesday, July 22nd at 1 p.m. And there's also the Pipestone County Emergency Preparedness meeting at Southwest Health and Human Services on July 27th. The hazard mitigation meetings will go on for months and months, so that's not a one and done. But all commissioners are welcome to go, but if you're going to have more than two, we'll have to note it as a meeting where you're going to be there. So, but I'd like to recommend that any commissioners want to go, be able to claim per diem for those two events. I'll make a motion to authorize per diem for those.
I'll make that motion.
Is that all right?
I'll second.
Now,
Motion second, any discussion?
What were the two dates again?
hazard mitigation meeting, the first one is Wednesday, July 22nd at 1 p.m. And then the Pipestone County Emergency Preparedness meeting with Southwest Health and Human Services is on July 27th. Don't have time right in front of me. Yeah,
1 to 3.
1 to 3. 1 to 3 p.m. at Southwest Health and Human Services.
And the first one is at EMS.
Yes.
Okay, the motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any other additions to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman, I do not.
You're not with your chair, I would, that's corrected.
I'll support that. All those in favor? Motion carries. The consent agenda, we have minutes for our June 23rd meeting, auditors warrants from 6/26, 7/2, 7/10. Commissioner warrants of $941,119.66. Hospital warrants $927,262.63. And the June 2026 treasurer's report.
Chair, move for approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Stacy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wish I was coming with better news today than I am. But I have been scheduled throughout July with all of the counties representing Southwest Health and Human Services to provide some unfortunate updates that we've received on cost shifts to counties across Minnesota. So I'll start, there's two cost shifts happening. One is SNAP, which we've all known is coming for probably a year. That's a federal cost shift to all states. In 2027, there will be two cost shifts. There's, we get reimbursed by the federal government to administer SNAP, since it's a federal program. They're reducing our revenue from, we get 50% administration down to 25%. So we're losing 25% of our revenue for that program while still having to administer it. The other cost shift for SNAP starts in Q4 of 2027. And you've also heard of that, that's the SNAP error rate. So that will start in Q4 and proceed onward. Unfortunately, Minnesota has incredibly high SNAP error rates. And the state has decided to charge the state as a whole versus by county. So we do really well with our SNAP error rate. But we are lumped into the entire state's error rate instead of by county. So for 2027, for both of those cost shifts, for Southwest Health and Human Services, it's a $381,000 price tag. So we knew that one was coming. The one that took us a bit by surprise is the LTSS. So LTSS is long-term services and supports. This one specifically is for residential services for elderly and folks with disabilities who live in assisted living or group homes. Just to give you a little bit of background, the state legislature attempted to do this cost shift in 2025. And if you recall, AMC got a lot of commissioners to come to the Capitol last week and talk to our representatives. So they decided to kick the can down a year and said, you have a year, counties, to find cost savings, so we don't do this cost shift. So there have been committees, commissioners have been on them, directors have been on them, supervisors, and we found a lot of cost savings. We found more than enough, and we brought that to the legislature this session. Unfortunately, they took those cost savings and put them towards the state budget and still did the cost shift. We don't know what the amount is. I've been working with Angie Youngerberg. She's been hired as a consultant by AMC specifically to work on this. So I've been in close communication with her to try and figure out how much this will be for us. We don't think we're gonna have an answer from the state until November or later, which makes it very difficult, being that we need to get our budgets done. So what they have provided us is if the cost shift would have happened in previous years, how much would it have been then? So we can kind of gauge. So you'll see on the sheets that I have 2023, 2024, and 2025. So in 2025, if the cost shift would have happened, that would have been $730,000 shifted to our 6 counties. And this is statewide, so all counties are seeing this incredibly high cost shift. The other thing that we don't know yet is the law indicates the LTSS cost shift start date of July 1, 2027. I've specifically asked if that means we'll be charged for half the year, and I have not gotten a concrete answer on that either. So in total, between SNAP and LTSS, in 2027, we're getting a cost shift of $1.1 million just for those cost shifts, which puts us in a bind. So if we have 1.1 million in cost shifts for wages and insurance, which we don't know yet where our insurance will land. So we're taking what it was last year. And for just regular increases in contracts, we need an additional $910,000, or excuse me, we need an additional $1.1 million. So between cost shifts, wage, insurance, and contracts, we need a total of 2.1 million. That's with no additions to our budget. So math by the act, is coming in January. And we are not including additional requests for funding for that. We think we can absorb it. That's our hope. So this is strictly just those pieces. So our joint powers agreement only allows us, or the board, to levy up to 10% as a maximum. And that 10% would be a total of 1.39 million, far short of the amount we would need to cover those costs. It would cover about the cost shift. So we received this information not long ago. We brought it to the Southwest Health and Human Services Board and discussed coming individually to every single board to provide this update to everybody. I'll pause there to see if there's any questions about those.
Regarding the act, It's my understanding that other counties have mentioned an increase of up to $1 million per county, just for that. And you said you could absorb that. I was questioning if that's legitimate or not.
Yes, so fortunately, our cases have been trending down, which I think will help us. Now, if we get an influx in cases, we would be in a different state of where we're at with that. We have also applied for a grant with Sauer Foundation, they're out of the cities, to pay for the training of our staff. And they seem very, very interested. On top of that, every county is getting money from the legislature for implementation. So Southwest Health and Human Services is getting $600,000 to. That's a one-time cost, and of course, we can't supplant. And that makes it tricky to figure out how to spend that. But I think between those, all those pieces, we're sitting okay right now. Again, I'm hesitant to say that because if cases start to trend higher, then we might need to look at additional staffing. We're okay right now.
Stacy, have we got some better clarification from the state also on the minutia of this act? That's not gonna be quite as bad as we had first forecasted it to be.
Well, I think we've received one bulletin from the state, and I think we need more information on the specifics, but I think overall, if we can get our staff trained on how to implement, a lot of this falls on, unfortunately, on our staff on how to do practice different. And so a lot of this is just training them and then supporting them with our systems and paperwork. We are also working closely with our judicial system because it changes a lot of the court process as well.
When we first discussed this a year ago, I thought we were talking one, maybe even two additional full-time employees to be able to handle it. Do you think that with some?
Again, our cases have been trending down.
Yeah.
And if they stay where they're at, I believe that we can absorb this
Oh, that's good news.
for now. So I would like to kind of knock on wood, but feel like I'm gonna jinx myself. But we've been keeping a really close eye on caseload sizes and also looking at repurposing work so that we could absorb this. We're starting to talk about what do we do with this $600,000, and the act does require with every single family we work with, we have to do what's called a family group decision-making meeting. It's facilitated by a neutral facilitator. We have one person right now that does that, which would not be able to take that on. So we're thinking maybe with that grant, if we could contract out or find some more providers to provide that service, which would also help our staff be able to do the other.
Then in addition to that, for like MA or food assistance or whatever, don't you have to do it twice a year now instead of once? Which is basically doubling your workload.
Yes.
How does that?
Yeah, her eligibility unit is really getting hit right now. We're trying to again look at can we shift some caseloads around to free up some duties because they are now having to touch cases double what they did before. So we're getting 25% less revenue and doing 50% more work on these cases.
Well, wouldn't it be 100% more work?
Well, yes, sorry, yes, thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's significant. So we are in talks about how can we keep managing that. And now with the work requirements, we're expecting a lot of people to not get their paperwork in, so they'll go off and then they'll apply and come back on. So we're thinking we're gonna see a lot more people on and off, which just creates additional administrative.
More work.
Yeah.
And you're still using an antiquated computer system that for all practical purposes is obsolete.
Yes, and it contributes to our error rates.
Right.
Right, so yes. Very frustrating on a number of levels.
Are they working on that?
Well, theoretically, yes, but practically, is there anything that's gonna be available to use soon? No, right?
Now, we did receive a decent amount of funding this legislative session, but I agree, I think we're looking a number of years down the road before we actually see
years
anything.
before you get new equipment.
Yeah.
Better hope it doesn't just collapse
Yeah,
before then.
Well, the other worry I have is all the other states that have tried to implement a new system have failed. And so I don't know why it's so complicated, but
Isn't there one state that has a success that we could copy?
one would think, but as far as I've been told, no.
And not to be pessimistic, but we all lived through the computer technology update for
In Mars?
Mars, that was a mess. So why would this be here?
And a lot of counties have started just hiring their own software technicians to create an overlay because they can't keep waiting on the state. So like Olmsted and Stearns, and they're really looking at that.
And weren't there predictions that if indeed we did have a modern software program to work with, that we'd actually cut our labor costs in half?
I think you absolutely would, because there's so much manual
Yeah.
data entry. And we have so many systems that don't talk to each other that you're just literally inputting data
Yeah.
in each system. And so if they spoke to each other, I think you would drop that by an incredible amount.
And again, for those that don't know, the system we're using now goes back to the eighties, if not earlier, some green screen.
Yeah,
It's
twos.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you use the F1, F2 buttons.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of the folks we're hiring have never seen that screen. So there's a lot of training. Other questions about the cost shift, otherwise I can speak a little bit to some solutions that we've been exploring.
The email you sent us all last Wednesday comparing the different counties, so if you got an update on that as well too, I thought that was very likely.
I with a percent of what it would be for each
Yeah.
county. I don't have an update on that, and that is based on if we get the 100% of the LTSS, which again, I haven't gotten a concrete answer. But that is 2025 data. That I went off of for what each percent of your levy equals, so it may be different than what you're seeing in that email, but. So
You're looking at a 2.9 is what you're kind of predicting off of that chart.
yes. Yeah, so Southwest Health and Human Services would need like 15%, but for every county, that's actually 4 or under for your total levy. So we can only, the Southwest Health Human Services Board can only do a 10% levy. We cannot change the joint powers except for on odd years is how it's written, so we can't amend the joint powers. We spoke with our attorney, Ann Beering, and she said the only option we could do is every county board could agree to provide an additional county contribution to Southwest Health and Human Services for that difference. But that would have to be voted on and decided by every. So we took the same formula that chart is the same formula we use for what we do for the levy every year.
So if any other counties agree to do it thus far?
Well, I went to I had Lion and Rock last week. Next week is Redwood, then I have Murray and Lincoln, because you all like to have, your
Different.
meetings on the same Tuesdays. So nobody has taken action yet. And I've sent out an email to talk to the county administrators, coordinators / treasurer to see if we can get on the same, have a conversation about what that would look like, because it could be difficult when you have every board making that decision separate.
I can understand because of the bylaws and what when we someone joined this 6 County Joint Powers Act, and that makes good sense to put that language in there, but we never foresaw this type of cost shift coming to us. And I wasn't aware that we could only do it every other year. I thought that each county would have to amend the bylaws, but it's more involved now, so we have that. I don't see as where we've got a choice. I really don't, because the only other option is we don't contribute to it, and if we do that, our joint powers dissolves, and it's certainly not gonna be any less expensive for us to do the invention.
Well, and I should add, we have certainly explored, both, can we increase revenue in certain areas and can we cut in certain areas? We've explored those options. I think Southwest Health and Human Services over the years has had to cut. So we're really, health protection isn't, but everywhere else, we're really struggling with caseload sizes. So like Prime West for waivers, recommend like a caseload size of 50, and we have workers at 90 to 100 cases. So we're really way over capacity already, so we're a little concerned about that. There are other areas, we have paused a few positions that have opened up. And so we're pausing on some, we're looking at some areas, and then we're also looking at revenue. So we recently signed, or I'm bringing a contract tomorrow to the Southwest Health and Human Services Board with Medica. So that we can bill them for our care management and case management. So we're exploring all the options we can to try and support this. But we only have, the other pieces, we only have about a 3.25 month of operating expenses in our reserves, if you will, which the auditor certainly wants.
Yeah, that's pretty well known.
Mr. Chairman, what is our Pipestone County's exposure to Southwest Human Services right now?
That's what,
How much do we pay them every year?
1.7 billion.
So
The same here as a our group together, so Pipestone's not.
Right, singled out.
so for like,
So
so I can give you the estimate for 27 if the joint powers indeed approved at 10%.
I would like it now.
It would be, do you want it with the 10% or what we would need to cover?
Well, give them both.
Okay, the 10%, again, these are. No, these are, so the 10% would be 193,167.
Plus that's plus the 10%.
That would be the total for Pipestone.
What was that number again? Time we're starting.
Yep, that's it, 193,167. Would be the increase, I'm sorry, that's the increase on top, right?
Yeah.
Which has Lisa
Yeah,
here.
what do we currently pay?
It's almost gonna double. It was close to double the amount we had previously paid last year. Yeah,
Well,
but
because
our total budget was,
last year we, yeah, it's 1 point some million. It's not gonna double. The increase will be several hundred thousand.
How much money do you?
That's just with 10%.
You think it's around 1.1 million, what we're.
What we currently pay?
Yeah, fine.
Well, somebody should know that.
Steve will get-
Okay, I was gonna say, I can find it, my apologies, Lisa was not able to join me today.
You can take your Apple II along with you.
What was that?
Take your Apple II along with you.
Yes. Oh. So the increase would be the 193,000 if it was 10%. I can give you those numbers. If we did the total to cover everything, it would be for Pipestone in addition to 89,000. 700.
To cover everything.
Correct. Which is about, based on last year's, net tax capacity is about a 2.9% of Pipestone's levy.
289.7, what was that?
289,751. So the difference is about 96,500 between the max we could do and covering additional.
What I'm trying to get at is what's the difference between the 6 counties paying a 10% increase? How much you need over top of that, that we would have to split up and pay over the top.
That's the number. So we use the same formula that we use currently. So the, on top of the 10%, it would be that additional 96,000 to cover all of it.
That was just Pipestone County share?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's where I was getting.
Mr. Chairman, our levy last year was 1,929,388.
But 1 million is pretty close.
1,929,388.
And 10% of that.
1.9.
Yeah. This is the 193.
Yeah, it's just-
Mhm.
And then will be 96% extra from
Yep.
And again, that doesn't cover our normal inflationary costs for the year, because our levy is adjusted by our wages, so we'll still see an increase in our levy as well. In addition to this
So
extra
that
funding.
includes the wage increase.
I think that's.
For us, the 2.1 would cover the wage, the insurance, if the insurance falls where it did. And then it would also, what we built into there was a 3% increase on contracts, which is usually where people land, but we are in conversations with all of our providers like Western Mental Health Center, Legal Treatment Center, to request that we not have those increases, but I know every organization right is struggling.
And the 96,000 you quoted was prorated for how many people we have in the system and all that.
Yeah, that's based on our formula.
Thank you.
If you guys recall, a number of years ago, our spending had really gotten out of hand with health and services, and we were fairly top heavy on labor, and we as a board, health and services, put a freeze on hiring. And we did cut our number of full-time employees down substantially. Now we've got a process as people retire or whatever, we do a real evaluation of each position before we backfill it. So I'm really pleased that we're able to do that. We got our budget much more in hand. And this again is just those that are creating into all of it.
Yeah, I keep saying that we can be as fiscally responsible as possible. But we can't absorb this when other entities aren't, and they pass it down to you. I don't know how you absorb that.
Not more fat to trim.
No, and we have, I will say, since we knew SNAP was coming this time last year, we have cut and paused a number of positions this year in preparation, because we knew that was coming as well. But there's certain areas that just are far over capacity with.
But probably the worst was when the counties found the savings for that long-term service program.
Yep.
And then the state just said, well, thank you for that work, and now we're gonna use that to cut our budget and then still pass on the shift to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that,
Is the new work requirement gonna reduce the caseload at all? Some people either give up or find a job.
I think that what I can foresee happening, we'll have to track the numbers, but I can see a lot of people maybe coming on and off.
What would that gain them? Do you get
Well, they
certain
may
amount of
not-
time to look for a job? Is that what the?
You have a certain amount of time and then they'll have to submit documentation. So if they don't submit, they'll go off and then they'll realize they went off and then wanna apply to come back on. So I,
Sure amount of time to apply for jobs.
Yeah.
That's why it wouldn't be gone or off.
yeah,
But the additional clerical time spent by our people to monitor that is gonna eat up any savings and benefits paid out and any of it's gonna so workload.
we will track that though, to see, did the new requirements that came out of HR1 impact our caseload sizes as well as the work time per case?
We've gone through quite an experience with Southwest 18 Mental Health Consortium. When we had to have a bylaw change and every 18 counties had to approve that, and that was such a mess. Because you have all the different county attorneys with their version of that particular thing, it took forever. And so here we'll approve the 6 counties, I know it's not the same thing, but again, we still got 6 counties who have to agree to increase their contribution to this, and if any one opts out, it's gonna upset the apple cart. So we truly don't have any choice if we want to maintain what we've been doing. We have to all, as a group, all 6 counties have to do this. Because again, our other option is to disband the joint powers altogether, each county individually do this themselves, so we know that it would not be economical at all. The cost savings in the duplicated services is why we formed the joint powers in the first place, so.
Well, and every county is having these cost shifts, right?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't. If, like, that would still be the problem no matter what. I've actually talked to some counties and they said they're looking at a 20 to 30%.
It would be
levy,
worse.
right, to cover this. So it's not a joint it's not like a Southwest problem, right? It's
No.
across the board.
Yeah.
That people are just really getting hit with this LTSS one. And I know AMC and MAXA are going to continue to advocate at the legislature in 27 to see if we can get this undone. But I don't think we can risk just not budgeting for it at this point, especially with where we're sitting with our operating expenses.
Steve, any just off the top of estimate of what this type of additional cost would affect our local levy? Yeah.
Early to tell right now,
But it would be,
about a 3%
Yeah.
increase.
yeah, it would be meaningful, yeah. On top of all our other additional expenses that we're already looking at.
How soon do we need to act on this?
So Southwest Health and Human Services, our board has to set a preliminary levy in August. And then work through that. The county contribution though is separate. If the counties decide. So we would have a little bit of additional time to work that out.
I mean, does your preliminary have to be filed with the state at the same time the counties
Sure.
does? So really got till the end of September, but it'd have to be before then now.
Yeah, my understanding is we usually do ours in August so that the counties.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so we make sure we're ready.
Okay.
The legislative session for next year, would that be able to change this?
They could, however, I'm a little worried because it looks like we're looking at a deficit.
6 billion last I heard.
And so they'd have to find the money elsewhere to take it off of counties' backs. And
Each,
I can tend to be pessimistic about those
Voting
pieces.
has consequences, that,
Correct, yes.
that would be a question to ask, which we get a candidate someplace.
yeah,
Yeah, because we have actually additional cost savings that could be implemented around, specifically around the waivers. And so there certainly are decisions that they could make, to improve the outcome of where we're heading financially as a state around this service.
so if we look down the road to fiscal 2028, of course, this is just a week, of course, 2027. So in 2028, then, would we go through the procedure of changing the bylaws, so we're not open to 10%, but this is gonna be a one-time situation where each county is gonna have to contribute extra money over and above the levy.
So I'll be quite honest and say that we decided to table that for the moment while we dig into the 27 budget.
Yeah.
And I certainly would want input from the board as far as whether or not we want to do that. I mean, I don't want us to be setting levies over at 10% or over 10%. So I'm hesitant to change that. However, if the state and the feds keep doing these cost shifts, I just don't know how you absorb it. Something has to change at some level. They can't continue to do that. We wouldn't be able to do the work.
Or maybe,
It's gonna have to get
maybe
shifted.
they need to lessen the mandate and you just provide less service.
Yeah.
That's another thing we talked about at Health and Service. We always talk about what are mandated services and what aren't. Then we had a lengthy discussion at a meeting, and there really is not a lot of extra fluff, if you want to call it that, we're doing. What we're providing is mandated. I think the only exception was the Circle program. But we thought that our actual out-of-pocket cost for Circle is not substantial enough to really have savings, and there is a great benefit to that Circle program.
Yeah, Circle is our one, and then we have a parent support outreach program, but that staff is fully funded by a grant.
Yeah.
So, and it's a preventative service in hopes of avoiding folks going into deeper end services. So we've really cut, well, we have cut a lot of our non-mandated services, but also the state has passed laws making them mandated. So we've had both sides
Sure.
of that happening.
The Act, for
Yeah.
example, yes.
2028, if the legislature does not change the SNAP error rate cost shift from counties to the state, will be hugely detrimental. It's a large amount of money. This is a very small sheet. And I can email it so that you can expand it larger. But they do have in here what the 2028 SNAP cost shift would be. We're only getting 1/4 of it. Maybe my readings. So I believe the 2028 for Southwest Health and Human Services, if we don't shift it, is up in the $1 million mark.
Looks like it's 1.181.
Yes. If we don't shift it and don't get our error rates down as a state. So I can email these documents so you can enlarge them. But I just wanted you to have both the SNAP one has every county and what cost shift is, and then the LTSS one is every county and what shift is. Or what work they believe it might be, as we don't have.
Well, Mr. Chair, we want to probably not take action, we probably should put this on the agenda, have more in depth.
Yeah, well,
But again, my opinion is we've got no choice but to support this. I'd be ready to vote in favor of the day, but I understand go through the process, we should probably put it on the agenda, and have a more in depth look at it.
Right. Yeah, we'll take it up at the future meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to come back or answer any questions or however you need me to be of support. I just appreciate the time, allowing me to come and share this.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
You did a much better job explaining it than I ever.
I've had to explain it too many times. I wish I didn't have to explain it.
Yeah,
Thank you. So
thank you. Okay.
Morning.
Morning.
Great, first up for me would be some project updates. First update I have is the 25 construction project. We're just about to the finish line. We did have a soft spot show up, it's gonna need some corrective work, but that might be hopefully tomorrow, actually. So that and striping, and it will be complete. One thing you might notice or hear about, where the ped ramps meet the road. The ped ramps are gonna be about 1.5 inches higher than the road, and our guys will come out and put some cold patch in there to make that transition better. The reason for that is, if you remember, when I presented the 5-year plan, we have a final lift scheduled in a couple of years. We wanted that long-term product to have the better tie-in, so that's why it's gonna look odd right now, but there's a reason behind it. Having the ultimate long-term project. So.
And the guys feather that out as best they
Yes,
can.
yep, they'll do the best they can, we'll use cold patch so it comes out easy, so we can get,
That fine overlay. thing.
Yep, we're gonna try cold patch anyway, hopefully, you know, if it doesn't hold, we might have to do something else, but.
This should be good until winter, I would think that should hold, that should have been.
Hope so, I think so, but either way, I don't really know how that's gonna go, but that's why we're doing it, so if you get questions or comments or. You know, it is done on purpose, and that's why we're doing it, so. Otherwise, all goes well, it should be open by the end of the week, so.
How did the tree trimming with the new right of way and so forth, it got better line of sight now as people on the trail come across the road
We did that,
before?
I think that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I haven't been out to look at it, I didn't like that, I heard, oh,
Yeah, I don't know if we did any with this project, I think that was beforehand with like the power line. When that moved, I think those had to come out that, so that's all. So. There's a few other bushes on the west side of the trail that, you know, if the state was okay with losing those, I would probably I think that's right out there.
A little more trim. Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to see where final product was first, so they could come up, look at it, get a little bit. Well, vision a little bit better, I guess. So. All right, next update would be the second sheet, 2025 box culvert contract number 5. The note I have here is work starting soon, well, it actually started today, so. So that's going well. Then lastly, on the last page, our 11 reconstruction project that just got approved in the 5-year plan. We plan on sending out RFPs, which is request for proposal to design consultants. I'll come back in August. One of those selected. All right, next up would be this maintenance and miscellaneous updates. Over the last month, we've been spraying, mowing, crack sealing, graveling, and shouldering, so. Next up for me then, he was contacted by a commissioner from Murray County. As you probably heard, they've been looking for an engineer and find one, so they'd asked if we'd be willing to share for a while. He's similar to when we shared with Lincoln County. This is something I'm willing to try. Did put in here that we can withdraw within 30 days, so things don't go well or too much or whatever, you know, we can get out of it. So some advantages to Pipestone County would be they would cover, you know, depending on how much they needed me, they cover up to my half of my salary and benefits, so the county would save that cost. And then oddly enough, something that I am looking forward to is, I'm guessing working over there, I'll learn some little tricks that they've discovered over the years and I bring back here. So it's a good job too.
Do you know what their expectations are as far as time? Do they have somebody that they're working on bringing in full-time employment?
So I don't know what their expectations are. I haven't talked with them very much because I felt we should come to this board first, so I don't really know. I don't know if they really know yet. But last I'd heard, they made an offer to somebody that just doesn't have a license yet.
Right.
So if that goes through, I mean, that can be all that much time, but I wrote, this is written as up to, I think it says 87 hours a month, but that's based on the 2,080 hour work year. So it's gonna take me more than 2,080 hours to do more. But so it would be up to like a 50-50 split. It's true. But I don't know what they're gonna need, so
Right.
maybe it's much less.
Where you need you to park the Pipestone County equipment truck in the front, so everybody sees this. The truck is just. He drives to the.
Yeah, I just drive myself.
They drive a Pipestone. Oh, no, he doesn't want to do that.
But yeah, you mentioned we've already kind of set the precedent before with Dave, with Lincoln County, that worked very well. And that went on for a number of years, if I recall.
That went on for years. I can't remember exactly how many. Yeah, I didn't write anything about, you know, with the Lincoln County agreement, they had to pay us mileage because he drove a
Sure.
some kind of vehicle up there. This, I drive by their shop every day anyway, so I'm just on there, so I would just use one of their vehicles, but for whatever reason, that didn't work out anymore, and that's the Pipestone one.
Yeah.
Trying to manage it, but
I guess my thought process is that of your workload, work capacity. Devil's advocate, if you got all kinds of time to go someplace else, but you're not working very hard here, I'm not saying that.
yeah,
But that's the perception, we know that's not it, so you can do this for short term, but if it was to be a long term thing, that would be expecting a lot, if you'd be able to carry double burden. You have to be able to obviously take care of your duties here, yes, you do.
Yep.
And we want to help our neighbors, but at the same time, we can't hinder ourselves in helping them.
so part of what makes it work for now anyway is My understanding is they're just about wrapped up with all their construction work for the year, and they don't really have much on schedule for next year. I think it's 2 box culverts and maybe a seal coat. And then for us over here, our overlays are done and our grading's done, so we have some box culverts and 1 bridge left, so I think it works out also, at least for the time being. The workloads are rapidly falling off in both spots for the year.
Well, I would be in favor of having discussions with them again to clarify exactly what their expectations are, both in the demands, the daily demands, and then also how long a period of time they want to cover with this.
I doubt they're gonna be able to answer that, because it kind of depends when they get the right applicant. Or, so maybe this one they made an offer to accept, and maybe this window until they get licensed is only a few months.
Yeah.
And it's over.
That'd be best case scenario.
Yeah, it really would, and that'd be easy. But if that doesn't pan out, I don't know. I mean, we can end this in 30 days. So to me, that I'm not too worried about it. Well, it's not like we're committed for a full year. So if it doesn't work out, we just tell them sorry, we tried. It doesn't work. So.
Well, I guess I'm not ready to commit to anything today, but certainly willing to take more information and what you guys say.
Mr. Chair. Just for information, we did have road bridge committee on this subject.
All day.
And just what was just asked here was asked pretty much before. And I think with the 30-day out, and I think they're anxious to get going with it if they need somebody. I would make a motion to approve the agreement.
I'll support that.
And, I mean, they need somebody that can sign things.
Today.
Right now,
Well,
yeah.
not somebody today. Well,
Their engineer's gone. He's hired. He's done. He's on. So.
I mean, they could probably lose funding by not having somebody that can sign off.
Sure.
the project.
I didn't realize the road and bridge car discussion.
Yeah.
In light of that, I can agree that.
And I'm assuming the road and bridge committee would act as the advisory committee if needed.
Makes no difference to me. That makes sense to me, though. I'd say road and bridge or personnel, probably either
Road
or.
bridge committee would be. You're familiar with it, right?
If I had to pick, that's what I'd recommend, but I mean, I'm fine though.
And as far as any, of course, your salary, obviously, but if there's any additional hours spent, are we gonna be billing them on a flat rate?
That's been-
Yeah, they're getting, they're gonna build for everything.
That's,
Yeah, that's been addressed here.
that's, that I would turn over to Charlotte. She understands that better than I do, but it's not gonna get done in 40 hours a week, I mean, we put it more hours than that in, for sure, so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, and then we do have a resolution too, we have to approve. 59, 23, 26.
Make a motion to support that.
Okay.
So,
The motion second.
Or can you explain that one? So that's.
Sure. So this resolution is piggyback off of the shared services agreement for how Nick will be paid. So he will be charging Murray County $150 per hour. And then Nick will be submitting a temporary statement for $36.67 per hour. Those services that he is providing for Murray County. We will be recuperating all of those wages, benefits, unemployment costs through the fee that we are charging Murray County, and it is based off of a formula that we used for other shared services agreements in the past.
Any other questions or comments? Not, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions for me? Otherwise, that's all I had for my stuff for today.
One question on the bill that Chairman Johnson had that 937,000 to the city of Pipestone. Is that for the safe route? 730. That's
That was
safe routes.
Okay,
The sidewalk project?
yep. Should have wrote that down, but it just came out yesterday. So that's that Safe Routes to School grant that we have to sponsor in order for the money to come in. Really weird this time, the state's never done it like this before, but they're letting like the city kind of submit that paperwork. Like the pay requests and, for example, Danielle just happened to be in our account and looked and saw most of it was deposited. Like a week ago, and she asked me about it, what's this, you know? So it's weird, the state submits the pay request, but it comes to our account, because I suppose it has to, you know, come through us. So she got the invoices from the city, I told them to just invoice us for that money, because we have to have some type of paper trail, you know. And, so we got the invoices, but she wanted to wait until. Like the state said the money was coming, she wanted to wait till it's actually in our account. So that's why, and it just happened yesterday, so that's why it was an add-on bill, but. She wanted to make sure we got it before we paid it, so. So it's for the Safe Routes to School project, and the grant money came in, it's not our allotment, you know, it's for that, so.
Sounds good.
I attended the city council meeting and there'd been some discussion about that sidewalk they poured out there on Playboy Curve going west. And they had a pay request and they're only holding back like 5%. And they went ahead and made final payment on that, even though there's questions about the quality of the workmanship on that. Apparently, they used a machine laid out with Bolton Minks engineer reported on this, saying that there's quite a bit of waiver and some that's gonna have to be replaced. And again, it's their business, but we're involved as well too, is a 5% holdback, gonna cover that if the contractor doesn't do the replacement. I know it's not our problem, but we're involved financially here.
You're right, it's not our problem, but, so they're withholding 5%.
Just their normal holdback. They didn't withhold any additional, just their normal 5%.
I think it's retainage of 5% on,
Total projects.
no, it's on. Like unquestioned costs or something, like I think they can hold more, I think if they're worried about something. I remember right, we haven't run into that forever, so.
But they approved full final payment and then.
I guess that's up to them, it's their, the agreement says it's their facility, so. Yeah. So not being familiar with it, I can't really say what I would have done, you know, maybe we would have, maybe it's not that big a deal, or I don't know what's honestly, sorry.
But just so you're aware of it, so it doesn't come back on us, with fiscal holes for this.
You know, being their facility, I don't, just kind of feel like we're out of it, you know, it's not really, you know, so. They have to maintain it, and replace it at end of life, and you know, that's all of them, so
Must be a common city thing though, because I saw the same thing in Holland with their water tower project. And there were some questions about county workmanship and whatever, and I was at the meeting when they paid out the entire project and didn't withhold anything. They said, well, how do you know they're gonna come back and do these things that need to be done?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the engineer was claiming that, you know, it was gonna work out, and I said, well, I think that's foolish, but whatever, it's your decision, and.
So I can say this is a little off topic, but I mean, we've had things before to where it's like they. Finish up a job, do a good job, everything looks great, like in October, but nothing's gonna grow then, or it starts to grow and. We final it out just so these smaller subs aren't sitting. You know, waiting on that final money all winter long when they've got bills to pay and stuff like that, so we find some things out like that before it's. Really done, but you've always had like at least an email or something saying like, yeah. We've been here you know, like the prime will say, like, we'll make it right if it doesn't work out. So I mean, that's about as far as we pushed it in the end, but I mean, those are pretty small ticket items too, financially, so. So I can't say it's completely, you know, it never happens, but that's the extent to which we do, but.
But if it's any size along the sidewalk that has to be replaced, no, 5% is not gonna cover much.
And my understanding from what Travis Winter report, since you explained is that was when you lay an 8 foot straight edge on that, you got a half inch deviation in the joints. And when you walk it, you can't tell it, but right, if bicycle is, they had you really fight on check here.
I haven't personally done my kids have, my sister's taken a golf cart and
It is.
it's all over the place. You can see it when you drive by, you can see the ripple
Yeah.
all the way across it.
Amusement park too.
Yeah.
And there was a guy sawing on it yesterday, and there's a bunch of X's on it, so I'm assuming they're taking those ripples out. But again, who's paying for that, household thing?
Yeah, no,
That's
fine.
Any other questions for me? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I just have one more item for personnel, resolution 59/24/26, appointing election judges for the 26th primary and general elections. So by statute, the board will appoint the individuals listed on exhibit A, and the Pipestone County Auditor Treasurer has or will assign these election judges to the duties during election season. Statute requires that we hold this resolution prior to or greater than 25 days, but also allowing the Pipestone County Auditor Treasurer to make any adjustments as necessary within the 25-day period of those elections. Election judges appointed under this resolution will be compensated $20 per hour. And regular staff will be compensated at their respective rate of pay. So it's requested to approve resolution 59/24/26 for appointing election judges for the 26th primary and general elections.
I will second. Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Does it include the adjunct election judges, or is this just for Pipestone?
This is just for us. Edgerton and Pipestone will have their own,
They'll do their own.
in full place, yeah, this is just, so this is just.
I just
judges.
recognize any of the names on here that I've seen in here, so.
Yeah, this is just judges that we will use in our office. There's a new statute for allowing early voting to start 18 days before. So, voters can come in and vote and put their ballots in the machine 18 days before the election date. And so we're gonna probably have an election judge in the office sitting there, and then our staff will assist with that. And so we tried to utilize some clerks, city clerks, and county clerks as judges, because of course we have a lot of mail ballots, and so this way they're still involved.
Are any ballots out already?
Mail ballots have been, the initial mailing of mail ballots have gone out, and we're getting them back. I got mine on Friday. Yep, and then absentees, of course, have been out since June 24th. It was the first day. So anybody having absentee can come in and request an absentee ballot to get that now, so. Yeah, we are in the swing of things, getting some back already, so. Yeah, one other thing to bring up, I don't know, probably can finish up this first. So we didn't go to this, but do you have any more questions specifically on election judge?
Now, we have a motion in a second, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
So, just was gonna let you know, the public accuracy test has been scheduled for the 21st. And so we will be going through that. We've already started some of the testing that we do in office before the public accuracy test. So we're towards the end of getting that tested, doing the reporting part and tying out. I am working on scheduling the canvas board meeting. So I will let you know for sure on dates on that. We need 2 commissioners to attend the canvas board meeting, so. So that is kind of the main things that I can think of.
And this time it can be any of the commissioners, right?
So,
Any of the 2 returning are on the ballot.
yeah, no one, let's see. Yeah, no one is on there, but again, usually, yeah, we've avoided whichever position is up, but no one is running this year, so.
Could you elaborate on this public accuracy? I'm not familiar with that.
So, as part of the election, we have to test all of the equipment that's gonna be used in the election. So we have test ballots where we mark things and then we know the results, so we have our, what we know the results will be. We put those through the machine, and then, yes, and we check the results with what goes through the machine with what it should be. And yeah, so we do a test with all of our things beforehand, then we have to do a public accuracy test where public can come and watch the test of us basically loading ballots into the machine
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, so. So that is what that is.
Any other questions?
Yeah, any other election questions while we're on the topic? It's kind of crazy to think it's.
Yeah.
It's August 11th and it's less than a month from.
Not bad. Thank you. There you go.
Good morning. Software purchase this morning. This is. The VMware is what we use to virtualize all the servers that we have on top of the physical hardware servers. These are all ones that's live in the sky. VMware's gotten quite expensive since they were acquired by Broadcom. This I'm told this is a pretty good quote for what we have. They base it on how many cores we have. We have 156 cores across everything. The last time we bought this, it was about $3,500. So
How long ago was that?
1 year ago.
That's a pretty sharp increase.
Yeah. We will be exploring other ways to do this because they're not the only game in virtualization. But the learning curve is a little steep with a lot of this too. So I mean, there's that part of it. But this is where we're at today. Any questions?
What would we do if we did not renew this for another year?
I mean, there really aren't many other options. Like I was saying, there are some other virtualization technologies out there, but.
It would take a while to get up to speed, so hopefully that.
Well, yeah, that and migrating them to whatever the next thing would be, or else you'd have to put them on physical boxes, and that's crazy.
Do any of these various software licenses and so forth come with multi-year contracts, or is always year to year? You've got no protection.
This is in the past, we've been able to do these multi-year. We've even done 5 in the past, but that wasn't helpful this time. And they were, I don't think they want to do small operations anymore. It's kind of what it looks like. They wouldn't even give me a quote until we were like 30 days out or 5 days out. And I've been asking for one since May.
How bad would it hinder or cripple our operation if we didn't have this virtual capability?
We couldn't function, I mean, right now. They send a cease and desist. For
Yeah.
not wanting to run their software anymore, but the worst thing would be, we wouldn't have support for it.
And our day-to-day operation,
We use this every day, this is, we get in and manage everything. What's that? Great.
Make a motion, we. Like, we'll pay the money.
Second.
Sandy got you over a barrel.
yeah,
I'm just curious, I know Bill's does his due diligence with the apps we've seen in the past, and I know if he has, if there's another option available right now, he would have presented that to us.
Things are changing so fast, 1 year term is all they're gonna give us.
yeah, good point, because I know Bill's just as frustrated if I would get, this is another form of ransomware, so it's.
Any other questions? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Kyle. Morning, Kyle. Hopefully you'll have better news for us.
What's that?
Hopefully you'll have better news for us.
Mine's pretty simple. I received a letter from Nobles County landfill. We do have a little bit of garbage that does go over to their landfill. They're requesting that the county approve a letter supporting their certificate of need. We did update our full volume tables with our 10-year plan. I did that about 1.5 years ago. Ben did adjust the numbers a little bit after that, to coincide with what they're requesting for condition of need for landfill space. So the letter is basically just acknowledging, for the next 10 years, what their space needs are from Pipestone County. Majority of our waste goes to Lyon County, which we're part of that regional landfill. But L&L or Scott's, Waste Connections does have some pickups in Pipestone that goes to Nobles County.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll move that we do authorize this letter for this deed of use of their landfill in Nobles County.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
And then the last thing is the inspection of the dam. You should have all received that from Steve. Yeah, the area 2 did the dam inspection. Pretty typical. The trash guard has never been bolted down, so I don't know if we want to spend any money to fix that. It's working as is. I do plan to have the highway guys go out there and spray some of the cattails, some of the trees on the shore. And then there's a few thistle patches that need to be touched up also. We do have it annually sprayed for trees. The person that does our ditch system does also do the dam. And I just got a check yesterday from Jesse Jasper, who is mowing it. He's got 2 more years, this year and next year, yet to mow the dam, to help kind of maintain some of the weed growth that's out there too. So he'll be mowing that here in the next couple weeks.
You got a check or you got a statement from?
Nope, he brings in a check. Yep.
Oh, I see.
We did a 3-year agreement for the mowing of the dam, so.
Yeah, he's taking it up.
Yep. Yes. So nothing urgent, nothing earth shattering. And I just kind of utilized the highway guys. Jesse did take down the fence last year. I talked to him, he's planning to put it back up this year, so.
Leave the grade unsecure, some pretty fine every year.
Yes. I did also, yeah, I did also get a call from the previous owner. They are very concerned with the number of dead trees that we have in that tree planting that's up there. I don't know if you guys have any concerns with that. I was gonna talk to Nate at the highway department, but to me, it's not a big thing. I mean, they thought it looked kind of bad and we should be taking all the dead trees out of the road, but
Are they ash trees?
They're pine trees. So there's 120 pine trees that just up and died that are, 20, 30 feet tall.
Can the highway just clean it up when they have time?
That's what I was gonna talk to Nate about. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that I did receive a complaint and they wanted the county to take action immediately on getting that cleaned up and making it look nice. But dead trees do have a benefit for some wildlife too, so it's not the worst thing ever, but I'll talk to Nate and we'll kind of keep working on things.
Would you make brush pile litter for wildlife or haul them out?
I would leave that up to the highway, whatever they would like to do,
I would think they'd all.
Yeah.
I would be with you.
right? You're just, asking for rodents and a surplus of them.
We do need to approve the.
Yes, so area 2 would like us to approve it and put the signature back, acknowledging the inspection.
I'll second
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
You lost 20 to 30 pine trees in a row a couple of weeks. It's last year too. Just
Yeah, so maybe there's something to go through.
bit too dry last couple of years.
Sure. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Jason.
Good morning.
One of my bosses here. So I gotta be a straight and narrow, no horsing around.
We'll name them too, Earl the Wildy is
So, thank you for the opportunity. I'll do a quick review of our audit, and then go into some of our activities. You're sure welcome to, ask any questions along the way, whenever you want. This year, we continue to use, Intern Company, which is our financial consultants, internal. They help us with our audit every year. The audit was performed by Wollenberg, Ritzman and Company out of Yankton. They are very familiar with, rural water systems, audits. So we've had much success with them. For fiscal year 2025, the auditors declared this a fair and clean opinion for 2025. And I'm gonna refer to a couple of pages, keep it high level. On page 5 of our audit shows the net position as compared to the previous year. The assets at the year end was 99,733,000. The total liabilities equated to 31,076,000. We maintain unrestricted funds in our account of 5.4 million. That's used for operating obligations. And the total net position as of the year end was 67,727,928. And that was an increase of just a little bit over $500,000, or roughly just under 1% from the previous year. Flipping to page 6 shows our total revenue, and that comes in the form of water services, capital grants, and investment income. For year end was 10,454,000. That is a decrease, considerable decrease of nearly $6.5 million. But that was because of grants that occurred in 2024. Those grants have now moved into assets, and you'll see that later on. Total operating expenses as of year end was 9.8 million, or just under 9.9, which was an increase of a little over $500,000, or 5.4%. Lake Pipestone funds depreciation, and that is shown as our expenses. And of course, any grants and monies from our hookups, both rural and cities, are reported as equity. Okay, flipping over to page 7 you'll see our capital assets and debt administration. I'll start with capital assets. At the top, our total capital assets as of year end was 76,887,000. That was, of course, the increase of 6% in our system investments. And we always highlight some significant things. You'll see the 3 bullet points at the top. The construction in progress is now over 4 million. That was primarily our office shop complex located north of Lake Benton, and a brand new tank that has been built. And I'll touch base more on the construction activities here a little bit. You also see some vehicle additions. We do a rotation on our fleet trucks every year. And new services equated to about 3.5 million. At the bottom of page 7 shows the depreciation on those assets. We had total assets increased by 4.3 million. The depreciation was 3.7 million on all of our assets. The outstanding debt at the very bottom shows at year end we had 28,147,000 in principal. The total indebtedness decreased by 1.26 million or 4% from 2024. And if you want to go into the specifics of all our bonds on page 28, shows those listings. One thing I'll note is we'll have one bond that'll come due in 2028, and that happens to be with Pipestone Mountains. That should be our last of our ones here. However, every county that we're in is all a part of a joint powers agreement. So you're not quite off the hook there. We are deep into construction projects, however, and we are incurring rural development debt, so federal debt. It's just not on the books yet, so there's no federal audit performed. So that's a brief rundown of our audit. I'll transition into our activities. So in 2025, we connected 41 new rural customers within our system. In perspective, we average about 50 to 60 a year. We've had as high recently of 84. So we are down a little bit this year, last year, but this year we're seeing an uptick. We've already hooked up 34 customers. So we're halfway through the year. Of those 41 new customers, 3 of them actually added additional capacity units. So you can buy additional capacity even if you're an existing customer. Pipestone had 5 new hookups, and 3 of those chose to assess. Outside of that, we're head deep into capital improvement projects. Our biggest one is the North Water Source project, which involves a treatment plant 1.5 miles west of Boyd, a 18.5 mile long transmission line that goes from that treatment plant back to our existing main, roughly east of Clarkfield, so 18.5 miles. This is all HDPE piping, so not the glued or gasketed pipe, I should say gasketed. This is all one fused pipe, so pretty indestructible. We look forward to many years, decades of service on that for us. So it actually in the bid process, HDPE came in cheaper than gasketed pipe.
Is it still like Schedule 40 or that old blue route, or what's it like?
It's much thicker. The nuances with HDPE is you got to be cautious with changing temps because it'll actually expand and contract. So once it's all fused, it'll lay on the ground for a while. It'll then get put into the ground, and then it'll lay in the ground for a while. And you just got to be kind of cautious when we're putting that in.
Interesting.
Yeah. We look forward to. It's going to take a little bit of different equipment, but that's kind of the mainstay now is that type of piping. We have 2 wells that we put in. Both have capacity when they're finished of 750 gallons a minute to supply that treatment plant. We're actually looking for a 3rd well for redundancy. The name of our game is redundancy. We have a lot of water sources. We have actually 5 of our own, or this will be the 5th one, and then we buy from outstate Iowa and 2 from South Dakota. One project that is nearing completion is we put up a storage tank at our Burr source west of Canby, and that's 800,000 gallons of storage there, so a blue silo. That was very much needed here within the last month of drought, dry weather and stuff, so that has helped us out. We do have plans for another booster site and another storage tank, probably an elevated tank over by the Marshall Cottonwood area. City of Cottonwood has chose to hook up to us. So that'll be coming in the future. The requests from rural customers continue, the requests from cities still continue, whether they're trying to figure out their ways of solving their problems, they're considering Lincoln Pipestone as a solution. Right now, we're nearing the end of connection with the city of Okabena, very south end of the system. So they are now our 38 community that we're connecting. So that ball continues, and we have to be very diligent looking forward with our sources that we have ourselves, as well as proposed new sources. Lake Pipestone is a member of Lewis and Clark. We're looking to expand that volume with Lewis and Clark. We're also a member of Dakota Mainstem, which is a 4-state concept similar to Lewis and Clark. So that's years in the making, but we're starting now. We're looking for legislation to help with funding of that too. Outside of that, we've had some change in our governance here. Rod Sprunk left us last year, his term ended, and we have Mr. Scott Wassink that has filled his seat. And unfortunately, Mr. Earl Wilde is going to be leaving at the end of the year, so we're in the process of searching for his replacement as well.
There's nobody who can replace him. Somebody's gonna take his job, but they won't replace him.
Exactly right. Well put. Yep. So, no, he's been a great boss to work for, so.
Appreciate being on the board this long, you know. Thank you for your service with that.
How long have you been on?
He can't remember, finish at 24 years.
We have some really. It's good, even in my time, in my position, having this longevity in the board, does bring merit to it, especially when, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've learned of these decisions in the past, and just the mantra of our commissioners of they're cut from a cloth, they understand what good quality water is and what it wasn't in the past, so.
And how important it is.
Yes, yep, and it continues to be.
5%, you know, it's 38 commissions.
So that's our only reason for being here, but we haven't done a lot of other things.
So yeah, if there's any other questions, that concludes my report.
Remember what year it started?
Our organization
Yes.
officially signed December 5th, 1978.
76 was a dry year, and there were a lot of people looking for water, and that's part of the reason why it got started.
Steering committee was working during those years, getting things for several of the systems, both on South Dakota and Iowa, and so it's.
Just so happens farm where I live ran out of water in 76, so they drilled a new well. And the landlady did not want to sign on to rural water because she just spent $10,000 for a new well.
We continue to work through those with a lot of our rural customers, whether to navigate them, whether electing to go for a well or connecting with us. Yeah, that's almost a weekly occurrence. Well, thank you very much. Yeah,
Well, by the way, Lincoln Pipestone is also dealing with this VMware that
your IT director.
Yeah.
Yes, the same situation is, so it's not just you guys.
They didn't charge us extra.
No, it's, we're dealing with the same thing with our servers as well, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. A little recess for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. And we can reconvene at Matt with that.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Ladies, sorry. Board. How's everyone today?
Good.
Good.
I just go right into it.
Yeah.
Sure, you guys don't know, my name is Matt Porkdale. Today, kind of representing Fair Board, Double D Gravel. With the kind of plans, with the addition of the demolition derby this year, obviously is a different track. So, what I wanted to talk about and is what we'll be doing out there, what we propose to do. And obviously it's your guys' property, so we want to make sure everybody's on the same page. The maps I handed you, it's kind of the illustration of what will happen. Ultimately, the current tractable track has a row of blocks right from the grandstands right now. We would be shifting that over about 30 feet to the east. A lot of good things that come with that. Obviously gets it away from the grandstands a little bit more. If you guys ever enjoyed one of those great pulls, if a piston comes out one of those motors, probably would be a bad deal, but either way, that's gonna be good. So my intention would be to put up another row of double blocks right in front of the grandstands. And then in between, we'll leave the row of double blocks that are in front of the grandstands currently. We will leave those, put up another row, and then fill that all in with dirt and material. So it'd be kind of like a tabletop, once it's all said and done. One, safety reasons, if something gets loose, it's not gonna push that. Utilization of the area for maintenance afterwards, because we'd like to leave this in would be the main goal. Instead of having it bank down and the mower trying to sit, call it a 5-to-1 slope. It's just a tough area to maintain at that point. Then you gotta weed whack and do all the other stuff that the mower can get. In my eyes, if it's kind of a tabletop to the top of the blocks, you just roll the mower right over, and or we put a nicer product on it, say a crushed concrete or a gravel, that we can just spray. No maintenance at all then, and then we can utilize that area for, as stuff is going on at the grandstands, that'd be a great area for the announcers and everybody else to actually set up on, because we're talking 30 feet wide, it's gonna be a utilized space. Over top, speakers can be closer to the grandstands, all that, so.
And it does sit where those two blocks are, it does sit a little bit lower, so if you do, for other events. You could use it, you could put stuff in front and it is a little bit lower than the first seat of the grandstand.
Yeah.
So it is a nice view here in a block.
You'll still have the tier effect of what the grandstands is. This would be just a touch lower, so it wouldn't block the first row's view at all.
If we had an event where they want to set a stage on, how would that affect us?
The stage probably wouldn't go right there. I would imagine that'd still be a setback. Then that area would just be a flat area.
But it'll be ramped up on the side so we can drive up easily, it'll be 30 foot wide. I would suggest putting like crushed concrete, as Matt mentioned, maybe, then we can spray it, just it's easier to keep clean. Or if we don't do that, we can put it to black dirt and grass, but I don't know if you put dirt up there, then it gets wet, I don't know the water runoff either.
The vegetation would keep it, obviously, it would be recurringly drinking the water, but just some stuff open for a kid, this is stuff that it's not just for the fair, but stuff that opens up that property.
It's been a lot of years since the flat tractors have been there. If
Yeah.
that would ever redevelop again, how would that work in with us?
Well, I think personally, it just gives you that one more opportunity that you're not set back so far, but. It's tough to say that. It would just be taking everything 30 feet and pushing it to the east, which we don't use that area currently. Yes, the track kind of sits there. and it's closer to the fence, but if anything wanted to move forward that 30 feet, be it the other building next to it, be it the other chain link fence at the end, if we want to get more usable space for crowds, then we would just compensate out. The grandstands will never move, and I don't think we're gonna put any more stands that would be ground level except for what we have currently. But, gives that opportunity, so like the JC's dugout would be one idea we kind of threw around. If they wanted to make their area a little bit bigger, then because we'll have that 30 feet out and it's just in front of the grandstands, because that would just incorporate into the demolition derby track. But you can move their fence hypothetically 3 feet, and then that area becomes larger on their outdoor seating area for that. If there's any more utilization for that building in the future or during the off times of the fair.
I like your recognition of the potential hazard mitigation of moving that further east.
Mhm.
That makes really good sense.
Yep, and then just utilizing that area to the most, right? You can go up with a lot of different ideas. I'm not saying my idea is perfect, but my idea just is a maintenance ton. The biggest thing at the end of the day is after fair, the county maintains us. So everything that goes on from here on forward, and I told Steve and Kyle both, I said, I don't want to create a headache. I want to make sure that this is all seamless and it does not cause you guys one heartache at all. We just, a little less mowing, we square it off. Day goes forward and nobody knows the difference. Like just have a square in the middle.
Yeah, the maintenance, what he's proposing would not, it'd actually be a little bit easier. Quite frankly, I think would be less time, a little easier to maintain than what we currently have now. So in my eyes, I don't have an issue with this maintaining what he's proposing.
So in going forward here, if you look at the blue square, so that's technically what the demolition derby track would be. So it incorporates part of the tractable track, you would say, where those blocks would be stretched out during the tractable events, the other events during fair, they'd be stretched out so we'd still have a buffer from, what do you want to say, the track to the pit area. And then when it comes to the demolition derby night, I'll move the blocks back in to help an entrance and exit for their vehicles. And then when we're all said and done, then I'll probably set it up to whatever's the best maintenance, get with Kyle and say, hey, here's how we're gonna leave this for the year does that work.
The actual surface for the tractor pulls versus the surface for the demolition derby, how does that gonna interact with each other?
It'll be about the same. So the demolition will be the way they kind of want their tractors. They want it rock hard. They want no slippage.
Yep.
They wanna go.
And clay.
Yep, clay-ish, yep. It'll be the same thing as the track. If it's just straight clay for what we're trying to utilize, and then it's just a dead zone forever. We'll have that dirt clay mixture where if we did want vegetative growth, we'll have some, obviously in the heat of July, if you only have 4 inch black dirt, you're not growing anything anyway. We all know that, but it's just something that's gonna be, I'm trying to think of, I don't want to make something for 4 days that's just forever done for the year.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, so around that blue square would be the mega blocks. We'd set up mega blocks 1 row high all the way. And then I would back it up with dirt. Probably at that point, it'd be like a 2-to-1 to a 3-to-1 slope coming up the back of that with dirt over top of the blocks. So their recommendation is a 30-inch face that the cars have as a barrier. So it's a 24-inch mega block, and then we'll have the remaining dirt capped off on top. That way we can mow right on top and everything is just maintainable. Obviously, you're mowing next to an edge, and that's got to be considered, right? But it's not the only edge you mow next to, so it's just something to be considered. And then we'll put that 1 row all the way around it, sloped off all edges, and then that'll stay there. Would be my, what I'm proposing. A lot of this is time, right? So for me to set up all this on Saturday morning before the demolition derby would take me a considerable amount of time. And if that's something you want to do, great. I'm more than happy to volunteer my time. The fair is a great deal, something I look forward to when I was a kid the whole time. And my daughter, son are absolutely for it, so I'll give all my time I can have available to make sure the fair keeps going and continues on.
But you're looking for permission to start this.
Yep.
When you guys decide he'd like to start soon, so he don't have to do it all in a short period. He's got a little extra time, so he's looking for you guys support.
And this is all volunteer time. Jamie will, we're good with having the equipment there. He'll donate that. I'll donate my time and I'll have people come help. So except for it changing the cost of the county.
Chris, if you, chime in also, the fair board has approved this and, we had a meeting the other night and they're all for it, so.
Yep.
That's. We didn't make an official recommendation, but, was what that.
There's a lot of, like Matt mentioned too, Double D's putting a lot towards this, definitely fun money into it.
They're one of the primary sponsors of the demolition derby. And one of the things they're offering is the first 100 kids get in free, so.
Yep.
And that's, thank you for that too.
Yeah, well, that's Jamie. Yeah, he's just as passionate about it as I am. So. And we do quite a bit with the fair, I think all week long, where they're kind of doing it. If somebody needs to be helped out with their, not everything can be free, right? I mean, but we try our days to really make everything go.
I
It's a
think
great,
the public's
fair's
pretty
great.
excited about having the demo come back.
There's a lot of good talk around town, so.
Do we need a motion to approve? That way, yeah.
Yeah, allow the dirt work or whatever.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
I just have a question regarding that clay dirt mix or whatever. Typically during the fair it tends to rain a lot at some point. Does that make it not hard then, or is it just a mud pit or?
Nope, I'll leave it and we'll skin it. So if I gotta drop it a little bit, I'll have the equipment on site. The rain events like, was it last year? Yeah, last year was. Well, it was just mud, but we'll just go a little bit deeper, we'll get it right. So it's, biggest thing is we'll send it to an elevation. But I'll leave it probably 2-3 tenths too high to what my final elevation is. That way if a rain comes, then right before I can get on there, scrape it all off, put it back to. All green lights go. Obviously, if it's actively raining during the event. That's probably not gonna happen, but my goodness, I'll try.
And the fair board does get rain insurance, so approve that every year.
Sure.
So the money part is covered.
And when they're done with that, everybody gets burnt out because it's a lot of work put in during the fair. So generally they come back the next week or shortly after they kind of they always get things put back so we can maintain it and keep it clean. That's the biggest thing. It's just trying to keep it maintainable, weeds down and all that.
Yeah, last year we moved a heck of a lot of dirt to really make everything go. So it took a little bit more and then flatten everything out. And then we started talking about this and I'm like, all right, well, let's just make sure everybody's on case. It's. You don't want to free work 4 times, but.
Does it have to be, a real soaker though to have a?
It would have to be quite a bit.
Right.
For us to not.
Cause they could do it with a little bit of rain.
If there's a little moisture, they're probably not gonna be as happy because it's just not gonna get, for the demolition derby, probably. Not enough traction to really get the carnage that they're probably used to, but.
Right.
They'll still bang though, The tractor pull is the same thing, we have ways to make that go, and it's been proven year after year that.
Sure.
And then if it lightning stand down to something none of us can avoid, safety becomes the first thing.
Right.
Is there a procedure in place to register already or not yet?
Oh, I
don't know, is there, Ryan? I think that might be a little bit down the road for the demolition derby.
Yeah, you have to go on the website R&R.
Okay, R&R does have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not part of the fair board, just very passionate about the fair.
Appreciate your passion and Jamie and Doug, they've got 40 years of experience now. They contribute to the community now with Nate's already in the 3rd generation.
Yep.
I appreciate everything that's been done.
Yep, that's, it's very, very nice of them, like I said, I might be doing it, but it's not my equipment. You know, I just want to make sure.
One thing I got, Mr. They'll pick up all the old car parts and stuff from the demo derby, so you're not running over them with equipment, wrecking tires and everything.
Yep, I'll have
You know,
cracked skid loader there to make sure that everything's all cleaned up. Oh, yeah, then we do have, so while they're doing this, there is a pile of garbage. It's rock, just mixed with junk. They were gonna take and get that while they're there and have the equipment, just get that out of there. It's junk.
Is that on the north end?
Yeah, it's full of weeds. There's concrete in there. It's just a
Yep.
mixture of garbage.
Yep.
So I was gonna have them while they do this, if they can utilize some of that, great. If not, they were just gonna get it out of there. While we're there, the goal is to just, you know, a lot of that stuff's been sitting in that corner for a while. With the moving of this, pit areas all move.
Yeah.
So I just wanna make sure we utilize every square footage of that.
Is that what's in the top?
Yeah, so there's two dirt piles in there. One of the piles behind the guardrail, that's good black dirt, we'll keep. It's the one that's closer to that gate. From the north entrance by the horse arena. It's, yeah, there's so much concrete in there and big rocks. It's like gravelly dirt, it's not even clay, so it's not really good fill to do anything with.
Sure.
So. Oh, yeah, and then they did mention, the infield, it gets tracked up so bad with, you know, your pit area, bringing in trucks, trailers. So they were looking at tilling, the rest of the infield up, getting it, trying to smooth it out. The only thing is we would have to reseed it, which, the seed would probably be on the county's cost. But we have ability to use a seeder of the county. That would be the only other thing. The expense on the county side would be the seeder.
What kind of vegetation you think you put in there?
Just some kind of hardy grass, something. The main deal is to get it leveled off, kind of get it hardened, but not too hard for grass to grow, but get grass to grow and just get it. So that when they do bring equipment in or trucks and trailers, it's not bringing big ruts. And it's a little, because right now there's so many ruts, you have to readjust your spine after mowing that. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I said, if we're gonna do all this work, then, you know, right there, let's just get this leveled off. We have the capability to seed and kind of give a fresh start to that whole area.
Mr. Chair, I think that's a good idea too, because a lot of times those rodeos are held in there too, and that'd be nice for them too, to have a lot.
A little bit smoother,
Yeah.
you
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
The
you.
other thing about the fair stay, there are some junk in, I don't know which building we were talking about, there got chairs that are,
Broken chair.
I already got it taken care of.
you got the,
There's already a roll off coming. We're gonna get one roll off. Yep.
just they wanted us to make sure that it was okay with the board.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with Skip, it just, we got rid of a lot of garbage last year, it's been a dumping grounds, and we're not allowing that anymore. Just so much stuff, so I don't wanna have too much an expense, but once we get this cleaned up, we're not gonna allow it.
That's an expense that has to be incurred.
Yes,
For that.
correct, yep, so I already got a roll off there, or coming from Van Dyke,
Good.
Thank you for that.
yep.
All that stuff is no value, it's broken chairs, broken like partitions for cubicles and stuff from 20 years ago.
And if there's any recyclable stuff in there, then I can pull that out.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And thank Doubletree to check that.
Bye. Thanks, Brian.
Yes.
So we're, yeah, so they're fortunate, they're gonna figure that out.
Yep, we're just
Trying to get the Pipestone one.
Or
Something that's one today.
Yeah,
Just
so we take
kind of do this for hopefully, this person just kind of use
Get
that,
that.
that door and then.
Yeah, they can work medical.
If it works, maybe they'll look at that thing for one of those, I don't know.
Okay, we're done with this committee report.
Start
Sure.
on the ninth, at the board meeting here, we had a CPP personnel meeting later that same day. 11th and the AMC district meeting. 22nd, CPT executive board. It's the middle of the building project there, so every other week I gotta sign up, check for the contractor there. Otherwise not really do the report, and then on the 29th, the extension.
Okay, June the fourth, Pine West up at Alex. I don't know, thing there, when the day, pretty much.
Yeah.
On the ninth, regular board meeting, also on the ninth. PCMC executive meeting. On the 11th, was the District 8 meeting. 15th. Private Industry Council and the County Board of Appeals and Equalizations that day also. 16th, County Cookout, we all attended. 17th, Southwest Housing and Service Marshal, who did a great update today on that. It's a lot to take in, it's gonna be a challenge. 23rd, regular board meeting. And PCMC regular board meeting. Also on the 23rd, Road and Bridge Committee meeting. That was pretty much what we discussed today here with Nick. And the 29th, extension board meeting. I always get such a good report out of Brandy Rates. It's so good, the 4-H. Anyway, they're gonna remodel the 4-H at the state fairgrounds, they're gonna file that, it's that big white. Built in, WPA time or something. But it's gonna cost 34 million. And they're gonna do the outside, I think, this year. Probably after the fair. And then the inside would be the following year. But anyway, it's all private money, which. But it was great. And then one other thing she mentioned, 4-H is such a good thing for kids. There's 58,000 4-Hers in Minnesota. So, well, great. That's all I have.
June 2, went to the power line meeting that was set up at the Catholic Church, but got some answers there. 9th was regular meeting, also went to the Sioux Valley Energy regional meeting as representative of Pipestone County. 11th was District 8 meeting, 15th Board of Equalization, 16th County Courthouse, 17th was Plum Creek. One of the issues we had to deal with this time is they had a security breach. Cybersecurity incident. 1,000 phishing emails went out from Plum Creek. Which was bad. Yeah, we got lawyers involved and we got MCIT involved and it's gonna cost Plum Creek System some money. Did they fall for any of them? Problem is that some private stuff went out. Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. That's hard to say who. No, I just what I mean. That's what the lawyers are worried about, I guess. So okay. Let's just let you guys know that's what happened. 18th was a land use hearing. It was much simpler than the Jasper pit, this gravel up by Rooston. Or not an extra bit to be definitely done here. 23rd regular meeting. Also a hospital. That was it.
My month of June, I said Prime West on the north, I assumed that particular one, I was fishing and we can swim through. Again, Matt, Madison is his first meeting, the transition going very well. Then the following week on the 9th, then I'm also on the quality control board for Prime Health. Go through our annual reports, quality, very good updates. On the 10th, for rural Minnesota Energy Board, I'm also on the PACE committee. PACE does loans and so forth. And we approved the loan for a new air conditioner system for a facility in Jackson. In fact, we just had a request, Dave had to open this morning for this meeting. For a hog confinement wants to put in a solar array as well too, so that was approved as well, so we're getting some of those monies out for energy efficiency programs. Also on the 11th, we had our annual Casey Jones cookout meeting. That went very well. We had that actually at the shelter house down in Iowa Park. On the 15th, our SMOC board met, actually met here in town. We're in the summer quite often, rotate around. So just an update on SMOC and where we're at, of course, with our building project. In regards to the building project, then we also met, and thank you for attending that meeting, city as well too. And that was our first conditional use permit meeting. We had some questions there for some of the members of that board, so we got postponed the following month, which we did meet again. And they understood that yes, it's not in the flood zone. Got those questions answered. There's still some concerns from national park about obstruction of line sites that they don't want having been built for their area. So with one of the conditions was proposed that we put up some vegetation and block that line of sight, and they were content with that. Also for our parking lot lights, we'll have down facing lights so they're not lighting. We, in fact, last Monday, then the city had their council meeting. I attended that as well too, and we did for that, so that's really good. Backing back up then to of course meeting that's real on the 16th. The 17th Health and Human Services covered that very well. On the 25th, our ACE committee had our annual meeting as well too of show. The good news there is we did get our funding then through federal government funding through I think a program, excuse me.
Somebody stopped me in the street
Yeah.
just yesterday and thanked me for helping them get the face fund, so
Get that.
people are appreciative of these.
In fact, I think a few other volunteers are gonna be helping out with the fair this year.
Yeah.
Joe was at our fair board meeting too.
Jill's done so much. We've had such a good program with that.
And even the people on the work the fair
Yeah.
are all volunteers actually, so they can add to her numbers also.
Yeah.
So she has positive.
She does good numbers, makes better grants for her.
Yeah, so she got two of those board members to sign.
What do you call it?
And that completes my report for the month of June.
On the first, the regional solid waste meeting, we're gonna have the same dues for next year. The second was at the Power on Midwest Open House. The fourth, Area 2 in our CRCA, just routine projects ongoing. The 8th, plan ops. On the 9th, executive meeting at the hospital. On the 11th, AMC district meeting. On the 12th, our CRCA executive meeting. On the 15th, Board of Equalization. 16th, did the grill out for the employees. And the 17th, Highway 23 Coalition, on my way back, I stopped at Line Landfill to check out the pilot project for leachate evaporation, and that's where I met Senate candidate Chris Knoll. On the 23rd, had the Road and Bridge Committee, and then the Hospital Board. On the 24th, AMC Learning Remember Programs Committee, it's the Farmer Research Committee. They actually are working on, and will soon have a list of all state mandates. That we've all kind of wanted to have from time to time. But yeah, they've been actively working on that. I'm really excited about that being available soon, because it'll be interesting to see what we're actually tasked with, they're required to do. I'm guessing it'll be a pretty long process. And then have the AMC board on the 26th, and MRC also presented to the AMC board, but that's all they have.
That funding was from AmeriCorps for seniors.
Oh, okay.
That was 38, I couldn't recall.
Mr. Chair, I guess I also was at the Board of Equalization. I forgot to mention that either reported.
Anything else to be brought up today?
Last thing you got is the budget schedule that I handed out. I was gonna take a look at that, and see what dates work for your schedule, if we need to do any changes or anything.
The most noteworthy is a special meeting on the 18th of August in the afternoon. Get that on people's schedule. Possibly the afternoon of the 11th. Pretty likely the afternoon of the 11th. That would probably be an all day or with the regular meeting.
I was thinking if we had anybody that needed to come in the morning, we could get one in there if they needed to or whatever, and if you want to do the afternoon of the 11th.
That would work.
Yeah, I think that
Get as many as we can in.
might as well, because realistically, we gotta do it sometime. Be better sooner than later. Everyone should remember to vote before we start that day. If they haven't already. You guys should have time afterwards, but. Just in case there's long primary lines. Which considering our local races, there may be.
There might be.
Could be, no. So leave the 11th as it is, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Then the 18th is,
Afternoon only.
PM only, that'll work, yep, I got there. September 8th at the board meetings, we still have to get our outside group, like the library and those folks in, get those two, so like bring them into a board meeting, do that,
Right.
that's all right. And 22nd, I'm good with that. Everyone around.
So moved. Oh, no.
Have cake that day, it's my birthday.
Sure.
And I suppose that one of those August ones will have to approve the health and human service request.
Probably before that. Well, I take it back on,
How are we gonna do that, Steve? Will you just get the numbers from it and just put that in the budget?
I'll put it in their line item. and
Yeah,
they Give it.
I mean, but that's what we gotta
That's
do.
what we do,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
No, but normally if it wasn't for a special request, it would just be their levy request to us, they can put in your budget every year.
Well, they'll be sending me a form that has their levy request on it.
Right, but
With this
because it's
additional.
over a 10% increase in a given year,
Yeah.
we have to take action.
With that addition, he can put in the budget.
Right.
Right, but we have to actually
Just
approve
have to
that.
approve it.
The extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, will approve the budget.
Right, but I mean, I think they want us to approve that
Before.
extra before that, just
Yeah.
say no,
Commit to them first.
Yeah.
that all the counties are gonna agree to do it. But. And frankly. I don't know that it's enough, to be, I mean,
Yeah.
as much as it saddens me to have that much on. You know, where they only got 3.5 months of reserves, I mean,
Yeah.
they could go away pretty fast if things continue to get piled up.
It's all mandated. What are you gonna do?
No, I know.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right, but I mean, to have that low of reserves and, you know, they toss much more on your plate, or you could run out almost.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Well,
at a certain point,
what's
it's
that
hard to
now.
make payroll.
Yeah, that's what's happening kind of now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get it, we'll just put it on an agenda to approve that and
Right,
move forward for the preliminary. Okay, so we're good with what we got here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
there's nothing else, I guess,
Motion to adjourn.
right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carries. What do you want?